Hey, welcome back to the podcast of myself, Joseph Clough. You can find more information about me at josephclough.com/blog for lots of videos, lots of self-help audio programs. And in fact, I've got a new venture as well. And I say venture, it's really just completely free, where you can find all my videos about changing your life, my trainings, working with people, self-help tips, all in video format at josephclough.tv. So that's my new venture. So you may want to check that out whenever you have time to be able to really get a greater understanding. Because we've got to surround ourselves with lots of information to be able to get our goals. There is a key really in being your potential, which is learning. You've got to be able to educate yourself. As you probably well know by now, I really struggled at school. I didn't grasp information at all very easily. And I had to really change my mind. And when I did, I realized that I could learn anything that I wanted to. But you've got to have the passion to do so. And that got me thinking about how do we achieve our goals? How do we allow the goals that we have or dreams that we have and actually manifest them to actualize them into our reality? Now, the biggest way of doing that is taking action upon them. Many people don't though. A lot of people do not take action in actually going for their goals. They think that if they have the wishful thinking, they can just intend it to happen. Now, when you think about things such as the law of attraction, and ultimately the law of attraction is about likes attract each other. And if you have the right thoughts, if you think about it enough, it's just gonna manifest into your reality. Now, I do not buy into that at all, because you can meditate as much as you want about your goal, but if you're not going to do anything about it, it's just simply not going to happen. I think we really need to get back out of this law of attraction business, because it is great. It is very, very profound. But you have to do things in order to achieve it. It's no point just doing wishful thinking. It's about really manifesting what you want by the law of attraction and the law of action as well. Anyone, and I mean anyone who's made any significant difference in the world, have had to actually put energy into it. It's not just about your thought energy. And I might actually annoy some people who believe in a law of attraction, or that way of a law of attraction, but I don't really mind that, because it's just simply true. You can't just meditate on what you want to achieve and it just naturally happens. Yes, you need to get your mind in the right place. And you've got to ultimately think about your outcome. And when you think about your outcome, it's got to be in the positive as well. You've got to be focusing on what you want. So think about it right now. What would you like to achieve? Whether it be in your health, your relationships, your career, your finances. And then you may want to break that down even more specifically. And as you break it down more specifically, just think about the thing that you'd like to achieve. Now, when you think about that thing, do you have thoughts of, yes, I'm going to get it? Or do you get things such as doubt, the fear of failure, fear itself? Are you acting from scarcity? Because people may say, well, yeah, all you got to do is think about what you want. But if you have a deeper rooted fear around it, you're just not going to manifest it into your life. Even if you do take action on it, you've got to be able to focus on what you want. What is your desired outcome? Where do you want to be going? Think about it right now. If you had this, say, magic pill that would allow you to achieve this goal, how would it be? What would you be seeing in your mind? What would you be hearing? What would you be feeling? And as you think about the type of thoughts you'd be having, the feelings you'd be having, make sure they're so positive and you try on your goal. Because some people intend for a goal, but when they get it, they're not happy. So it's really important. But you figure out that what is this goal going to get you? What's it going to allow you to do? But what will it actually maybe cut off from your life? What might you lose, in other words? Because you've got to understand that for every outcome that you want, there are going to be some drawbacks to it. And that may hinder you. So you could be thinking, well, I really want to get rich, I really want to be abundant, I want to be a millionaire. But you've got to be also thinking about what will happen if you get that. What will actually the bad stuff would happen if you get it. I mean, let's put it this way. The majority of people, and I've done studies on this, and the majority of people who have become millionaires from like the lottery have actually lost it in, say, 10 years. They've actually completely spent all their money, and they're actually maybe in a worse position now. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, they haven't got the right advisors, obviously, but there are also drawbacks about having financial abundance. So it's really important that you know that whatever goal that you have, be aware of the opposite of that. What might happen if you achieve it? Because if there are any unconscious blocks of fear, scarcity, or what will happen if you get it, which is bad, then you're not going to be congruently aligned in achieving that goal or outcome. So be aware of it. Be aware of the drawbacks of achieving this goal. It's better to have them in your conscious mind so you can deal with them and satisfy them and come up with a solution to those, rather than going for a goal and sometimes thinking, well, why isn't it happening? You've got to allow your unconscious mind to be conscious. So really be aware of the type of thing that'll get you. Once you know it in the positive and you know what you might lose if you get it, then you've got a clearer mind. You've got that focus. You've also got to have the big picture. You've got to see where this goal will take you. You've got to be able to see what it allow you to do, how it will affect other people in your life. Now, I'm not saying that you should, if it has a negative effect on people like in your family or they disapprove, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go for it, because we've got to take responsibility for our lives and they've got to take responsibility for their lives. And we can't just buy into people's mindsets. But you've got to be conscious. Once again, it's really about being conscious of what will happen if you get this outcome and this goal. And as you become aware of that, then you've got to think, okay, what am I doing to actively achieve it? And there's where the law of attraction actually, or I'm not saying the law of attraction, because I think the law of attraction goes into the law of action. But people just forget about it. So once you know your outcome, it's in the positive, you know what you'll get, you'll know what you won't get, or what you'll actually miss by achieving it, or the drawbacks of the goal, and you feel fairly congruent and aligned that if that were to happen, you don't mind, or you're satisfied by actually coming up to a solution to those drawbacks. That means, in other words, you're congruent, you're aligned, and you're whole in achieving that goal. But naturally, you've got to be able to think about that on a consistent basis. The more amount of thoughts you have toward achieving your goal, the more dominant thoughts that you have and the most dominant feelings to that in the positive once again, then it becomes a natural habit. You just got to be aware of that. We got to let go of those negative thoughts and those negative feelings. And you can work on that. I've got lots of audio stuff out there, which is free as well, about letting go of fear, taking responsibility, and really letting go of anxiety, breaking down limiting beliefs on josephclough.com/blog. So there's lots of information there. I just want to give you a nice bit of theory about how you can actually be your potential and achieve and manifest your goal. Now, I'm also conscious about people out there who say, hey, Joe, or hey, Joseph, whatever you like. Law of attraction doesn't exist. That's all woo-hoo la-la stuff. That's just craziness. Now, if that's the case, I don't really mind if you got that mindset, because I can explain the law of attraction in the psychological side, just like the pure basics of that, as well as the woo-la-la stuff. It's really about whatever your preference is. So let's just do a reframe on the law of attraction. Anything you focus upon with consistency, you're sending your unconscious mind a direct message that this is what you want. Obviously, if you focus on what you don't want, your unconscious mind is looking for more of it. I mean, just to put it basically, when you've learned a new word before, you begin to see it everywhere you look. Now, it's always been there, but your attention hasn't been focused on it. Hasn't been focused upon it. Same thing, if you see a new car that you want, you see it everywhere, because you're changing your focus. You're getting your unconscious mind and your conscious mind to change and look for that new thing, because it's predominant in your mind. So if you're focusing on, I don't want to be more in debt, you're going to get more in debt. Or you're going to have more scarcity and more fear about it anyway, which, okay, you may not get more in debt, but you're not going to be financially abundant. Same thing with relationships. The more you focus on, I don't want another bad relationship, your unconscious mind is only looking out for more qualities of that bad relationship. It's in the forefront of your mind. Now, if you go ahead and focus on what you do want, your unconscious mind is actually focusing on the desired outcome. And naturally, it's like shining a torch on your goal. Where we can shine a torch on what we don't want, it's like a laser beam, like that torch, and you're just focusing on that spotlight of what you don't want. We've got to shift our perspective on focusing on what we do want. And when we do that, it's like our unconscious mind is challenging it or channeling its energy into finding out how you can do it. So really, that's just, you could say, the biological side of the brain, that whatever you're focusing upon, your unconscious mind is looking for more information to make that true, or to find out how you can get it. And that can take it out of the woo-la-la stuff of the law of attraction. That's just like how the mind works. So either way, focusing on what you want in a dominant fashion in the forefront of your mind is going to allow you to be focused on getting your outcome. And as you begin to focus on your outcome, your unconscious mind is going to be looking for those solutions. But when you're just looking out for those solutions, you've got to be taking action on it. And as you probably know by now, I'm really big into getting people to take action on their goals. So you've got to take inspired action, and you've got to take massive action. What are you going to do today that will get you that bit closer to your goal? What are you going to actually do? And literally make a list. Make 5 action points. What are you going to do today which will get you that bit closer? And then you do that every day. What are you going to do? And then you make sure you do it. Too many people put all their energy on the things they don't need to do. Either because it's too easy to do it, or that they don't understand about priorities, or that it's just simply too hard to take action. Well, that's a load of rubbish. If you're really determined to achieve your goals, whatever area it is in your life, you've got to take action on the 20% which will make things happen. Forget about the 80% of all the other stuff. Just focus on the 20%, the 5 key points that will allow you to achieve your goal and outcome. So go ahead and choose 4 or 5 points that you're going to consistently act upon every day to achieve it. You've also got to be able to be aware of where you're going as well. You've got to understand that if what you're doing isn't working, to do something else. So it's really, really important to be able to gauge where you are. So if you look back from a week's time, how much closer are you? Think about when you want to achieve it, and are you closer to actually achieving it by now? And like I said, you've got to keep on taking action, to keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. Everyone who's made big differences in the world has had to take action. No entrepreneur has become a millionaire or a billionaire by not taking action. Anyone can have the most wonderful thoughts about changing the world. Anyone can have the thoughts of creating the best invention in the world which will cure many, many things, or allow us to have more freedom in life. But many, many people will not take action into actually achieving it. So you've got to take action. You've got to really commit yourself in doing whatever it takes, and have that whatever it takes attitude. So the more you're focusing on what you want, and you allow that to be the focused dominant thing in your mind, you're putting energy into it, the good feelings about it, what will allow you to get you. Because you've balanced out everything, what will happen if you do get it, which may be negative already, because you've come up with solutions, or you're okay with it. So you're sending the unconscious mind a signal that, okay, the drawbacks of this is this, but I'm okay with it. So it thinks, okay, I'm going to go for it with you then, because you now understand this, and this outcome is going to get us more than actually not having the goal. So having those focused thoughts and dominant thoughts about achieving your outcome, and having those feelings associated to it, which are motivational, inspiring, exciting, happiness, joy, bliss, you name it, you're really putting those good energy to it. And then you're actually taking action, inspired and massive action, and you're aware of the type of results that you get. That means you're always going to get closer to where you are. The other thing about this is realizing that you're worth it, realizing that you're You have the ability to achieve your goal. So many people I see on a daily basis, on a one-to-one session, or even on my seminars and trainings, they have this goal in their mind, but they don't feel they're good enough or worthy to achieve it. Well, let's be really clean and very, very blunt about it. Yes, you are bloody worthy. You can achieve anything that you want. I know that you have everyone has the deserved right to be able to achieve anything they want. There's no one stopping you achieving your goal but yourself. Either that you're not consciously focusing on what you want, you're choosing to go and buy into other people's expectations or society's expectations, you're keeping the fear because you're not aware of the learnings about that, or you're not satisfying them by achieving your goal. Like I said, if you do have limiting beliefs or limiting emotions, I have a lot of stuff on my josephclough.com as well as my blog, which will let go of things like that. So you've got all the skills there. So it's either you're not taking action upon actually resolving those, as well as you're not focusing on what you want in a predominant format and taking action on it and being aware of the results that you're getting. Everyone has the God-given right to really achieve their goals. And that's why many people have made huge breakthroughs, whether it be on a psychological or physiological level, like getting over illness. People have done it when they've been told they wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, let me tell you a story really about about being physically unwell. A relative of mine called Tom was given around 18 months to live or so. I think it was about 18 months because he had an aneurysm and he was too old to be worked on. Like the operation to let go of an aneurysm or to relieve the pressure of the aneurysm is a very invasive surgical procedure. And because he was quite old, they literally said you have a 20% survival rate if you do the operation. So we're going to just allow you to live out your life for the next 18 months or so. And now when it comes to an aneurysm, it usually happens into elderly men, and it's either deep-seated near like the stomach area or the back of the spine area, I believe, as well as it can actually happen in the brain as well. And literally the vein actually gets, or the artery, whatever it may be, gets so big, it's like a balloon, and it can just literally explode, and it's just instant death. And they ultimately said, look, you just got to live out the rest of your life. Now, when it came to Tom, he was, at that point, he was so shook by this news, because he thought he had a long life left. I mean, he was getting on a little bit, but he thought he had a good 15, 20 years in him still. And obviously the doctor said that you are not going to live for long anymore. So he was completely a broken man in the next 48 hours. But I told him that I believe you can heal yourself. I've seen people do it. I've read stories about it. And there's all science. You can heal yourself to achieve your goals. So I said, look, I'll tell you what, work with me on a long-term basis. So it wasn't like my 1 or 2 sessions, which usually does to get a result, because there's a real physiological, biological issue. But I said, look, work with me. We'll come up with a strategy. We'll get you in touch with a nutritionist to get you back on the right diet and things like that. And I'll work on the mind and really get all the right vitamins, cut out the alcohol, eat the good food. And I believe you can heal yourself. So he agreed with me and said, okay, what else have I got? I trust in you because we're relatives. He's actually my nan's boyfriend. And he said, yeah, I believe in you, Joseph. So I'll do whatever it takes. So we had that I'll do whatever it takes attitude. So we're doing some work together, and he went back to the doctor and said, look, let's get this right. My girlfriend's grandson, who does hypnosis and NLP and things like that, says that I can let go of this myself if I get my mind in gear, my body in gear, and resolve the psychological stuff. Now, this doctor was fairly old school and just pretty much shot him down on flames and said, look, that isn't going to happen. It's just false hope. Now, you can even go 2 ways from that. You can even buy into the doctor's expectation, which is a majority of the thing we do because we judge doctors as having all the information they need. So we buy into what they think because they're the experts. Or you can say, actually, Mr. Doctor or Doctor, I'm going to let go of this and do whatever it takes. Fortunately, Tom went the latter. He actually said, look, okay, I respect your viewpoint, but if my relative says it can help me and there's a chance, I'm willing to do that. So we did this program, and it took quite a few months to be able to really get going on it, from hypnosis, NLP, timeline therapy, coaching, nutrition side of things. And as we did this, he went back to the doctor about 2 or 3 months later and said, look, I'd like to have another test. And the doctor gave him a test, and the doctor was completely dumbfounded, really, because on the one dimension of the aneurysm, it actually stopped, which, okay, that could happen. I mean, there's nothing big there, but usually it would increase in that amount of time, since he only had 6 to 18 months to live. So theoretically, 3 months later, 4 months later, there could have been a chance it should have grown by now. So it was not that special, but it stopped, which is quite good. But on the other dimension, it actually decreased. And it's only by a millimeter or so, which can be quite big in that kind of disease and disorder. But even more than that, we got his mind and body in such good condition that within 6 weeks, no, in fact 4 weeks, he was actually given an operation in Cambridge, where he's based, rather being sent to a specialist, which he would have gone to up in the northwest of England in Liverpool. And he was actually given this operation in 4 weeks, and he had an 80% success rate. Now, that is absolutely tremendous. So you can literally let go of all of this. You can let go of illness if you believe you can, because there's people out there like Tom, my relative, who proves this to people. And he actually went through the operation absolutely fine. It's about 6 or 7 years later now, and he's still in good health, although he's getting on and he's getting old. It's just natural progression, but he's absolutely in great health in terms of how he could have been. And when we think about how he could have been, he could be dead by now. Let's be quite blunt about it. Doctor said around 18 months or so. That was a long time ago, 5-6 years ago. So really you can let go of these things. But he had that commitment. He made a decision and he took action on it. He had to cut out alcohol. He had to look after himself. He had to exercise. He committed to listening to hypnosis CDs, what I created for him. He committed in seeing me once a week, sometimes more than that, to make sure he gets his outcome. That, to me, is a commitment. So really, it's about how much do you value your dream? How much do you really value it? Because if it's not important to you, it's just simply not going to happen. So you've got to really put that as your priority as well. Or up there with other priorities, but you've got to really understand that you can achieve the type of goals that you want if you make it your priority, you take action on it, and you focus upon it in every way. As you go to sleep at night, really think about what you're going to do tomorrow to make it happen. What are you doing today which is making a difference in the world, or a difference in your life, or a difference in someone else's life? It's really about you becoming the real you, and I think that's being your potential, being able to actualize your dreams. Because you wouldn't have dreams if you couldn't achieve them. Because you wouldn't think about them. Because they'd just be so far out of reality that they wouldn't even enter your mind. So the fact that you can have the thought, that you can have the dream, you can have the goal, to me it means you can achieve it, but you've got to be able to back it up. You've got to be able to focus on your outcome, and you've got to take action on it. Really, it's about taking that action, because the more things you do, the more likely you're going to do it. And like another little side metaphor. When I work with people with dating confidence issues, especially when I work with men, it's predominantly men I work with when it comes to this, they have this fear of approaching women because they fear they're going to look stupid, they have fear that they might be turned down, or they're going to get rejected, which is quite a common thing because it can be quite intimidating to approach a beautiful woman. It's just how men actually think sometimes. Now, when it really goes about it is, you can approach one person, and the chances are, because of the situation, where they are, they're with their friends, you could actually get blown out. It's just the way it is. It's not necessarily about you, but you may be blown out because of other circumstances. So really, it's a numbers game. You've got to be able to approach many people to actually get people talking to you. I know it sounds a little bit silly or a bit crude, or maybe, but it's just a simple fact. It's like sales. You've got to speak to people to be able to get the sale. You've got to be able to, if you're selling your products out there, you can't just approach one person, and if they don't like it, you think, that's it, I'm not good enough anymore, I might as well quit this. You've got to go out there and learn from your experiences. You've got to take action. So in the dating side of things, you've got to take action. You've got to go out there, put yourself out and approach people, and really don't mind about this so-called fear of rejection, because it only exists in our minds. And the reason I'm saying they're out dating or selling, because it's really about any goal that we have. The more times you do something which is consistent in actually achieving your goal, the more likely you're going to get there. If you just give up through fear of rejection or because it hasn't worked out this time, I mean, how many times will it take you to give up on achieving this goal? And just think about it. Would it be once? Would you have to do one thing? 5 things? 20 things? 1,000 things? And then I ask you this question. How long would you give a child to walk? How long would you give a child to walk? Would you just say, well, you've tried 100 times now, you might as well give up on this? Of course not. You're thinking, no, you give it as long as it takes for that child to walk because you know they can. Have that mindset when you have your dreams and goals, doing whatever it takes, consistently taking action steps to achieve your goal and outcome. Because anyone can do what they want, they've just got to take action upon it and actually really achieve their goal and outcome. So really, that's about being your potential. It's really about focusing on what you want. And we've really covered about the law of attraction, or how the mind works. And whatever you focus upon, your unconscious mind is continually looking for more things about that to achieve it. But obviously it's got to be in the positive. You've got to be able to be aware of what you'll get and what you might lose, which will clear out any subconscious blocks in actually achieving that goal or outcome. And as you focus about it on a consistent and predominant basis, you've got to take action upon it. You've got to do things which will actually push yourself. On my Facebook page, I read a quote really, and I don't know if it's been around for not, but it was pretty much saying that everything that you've done was once outside your comfort zone. It was once unexplored territory. There was a time when you didn't know how to walk, you didn't know how to speak, you didn't know how to do maths, you didn't know how to write, you didn't know how to talk to people around you, you didn't know what to do in your job. It was all outside of your comfort zone once. It was outside of your awareness, but you did it, and you got better at it. So I'm trying to say is that everything once was unfamiliar. So let's put that in your goal. Because it was once unfamiliar, doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Allow the unfamiliar to become familiar. Really live your life on the edge of your comfort zones or beyond your comfort zones. Push yourself. Put yourself out there and take action. Obviously in a safe way, but you've got to consistently take action and focus upon what you want to achieve the type of goals that you want. So I hope you enjoyed this bit of installment about achieving goals and the type of things you should do. Obviously there's not much processes there, but there's a lot of theory there, and you can find lots more processes that I do on letting go of limiting beliefs, installing new beliefs like all my hypnosis CDs at josephclough.com, or on my blog there's lots of free downloads and things like that. And it's really about achieving your dreams and outcomes. Do not buy into other people. Buy into your dreams, because when you buy into your dreams, you achieve your dreams and you actualize them. And guess what? When you've actualized them, you then develop more dreams. And then you continue growing and evolving and learning. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Once again, you can find more information about me at josephclough.com or josephclough.com/blog. And one other new final URL, which I've just created, which is josephclough.tv. I'm still new to it myself. josephclough.tv, which is literally all my videos all in one place on one website, and you can view them, you can keep watching them, you can put it as a favorite. It's all free. There is nothing to buy there. It's really about educating you to be your purpose, because that's what I'm about. I want you to realize how special and how beautiful and how wonderful and how unique you are, and how you can achieve your desires in every possible way that you actually desire. Because you can. It's just about you taking the decision to make things happen. So thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.